Hello all, welcome to the continuation of the DFMEA basics training. Now let's see the second parameter in a DFMEA. There are many parameters out of which we are looking into the main parameters where we have seen severity. Now we are going to see occurrence. Now occurrence is, it is kind of defined as the frequency of something that has happened. For example, if a failure has happened, now it is getting categorized on how frequently this failure is happening. That is termed as occurrence. Now the ranking for occurrence is basically based on how frequent the cause of the failure is likely to happen. And if we rank from 1 to 10, where 1 will be the least frequently occurring failure and 10 would be categorized as the highest occurrence and more chances of failure. Now, when we look into the right-hand side table, as we saw in severity, the ranking or the rating is given from 1 to 10. And as I mentioned in severity, here also these table and rating are just for our learning purpose. Each of these table are independent in each of the organization depending on the quality standards and the product or services that are being provided to the end user. So it may not be similar to what you see in the slide here. It can vary from organization to organization. Let us see the first rating where it's remote, which is non-occurring. Failure is eliminated through preventive control, and the elimination is through preventive control. That's the possible failure rate. Now, if I explain the probability of failure, that is remote, low, moderate, high, and very high. Design or life or reliability of the item. Here we are calling for how it is observed and the frequency it is being observed. Possible failure rates. This defines to the quality or the failure rates that's being identified both internally and externally. If you remember the previous slides where we explained about inputs, where we need customer failure rates and internal failure rates becoming the inputs for a DFMEA, right? So those inputs are tabulated with respect to this table in possible failure rates. And the last column being rating or ranking. So now as we saw in severity table, these are also classified into different rankings where remote and low, where 2 and 3 categorized as low or relatively less frequently occurring failures, which are isolated and almost identical in design simulation and testing. So when we rate less, these failures are prevented well so that the frequency of occurring is reduced. Now, this is important to understand because when we develop action plan, these are the criteria which we have to look into. When we look into the moderate or occasional failures, where it states the frequent failures associated with similar designs or simulation and testing. Now, when we look into the possible failure rates column, so here we are able to tabulate. For example, if you have a failure which happens 2 per 1,000 or 1 in 500 can be categorized into 6. If it happens with respect to 10 per 1,000 or 1 in 100 in respect to the manufacturing, internal manufacturing line or external customer claims, then it can be categorized into 7. So basically, ranking and categorizing is all dependent on the data that we have received from external and internal claims or failure rates. I hope this occurrence is clear now.